Good to run into an old friend of the show, Pennsylvania's 9th Congressional District, Congressman Dan Meuser. Good to see you, sir.
Chris, great to be with you.
How are things on Capitol Hill as you all get back after Thanksgiving? This is a short window of time before Christmas. Not to insult you, I know it's not just you, that you've got 534 colleagues, but do you accomplish much here in the coming couple of weeks?
Well, we need to. We have a lot of lost time to make up for. Of course, Democrats shut us down for 43 days, continue to somehow state and get some of the general public to actually think that Republicans had anything to do with this. I'll be honest with you, it's a little difficult for me right now to be embracing some of my Democrat colleagues because I've seen a lot of things in my 7 years here in D.C., but this 43-day shutdown was probably one of the most shameless, all pain, no gain efforts I've experienced. So, what they're about is unfortunately about creating obstacles and keeping the Trump agenda from taking place, and our agenda, frankly. It's not, and believe me, look, I'm on board with President Trump. I believe in the America First plan. But I meet with his cabinet secretaries also as much as possible, not because to pat him on the back and say, hey, you're doing this great. It's to help enhance the programs for my district and for Pennsylvania and for our country.
What is your impression of things in the Commonwealth right now? As I read it, Scott Pressler posted something on X that registration for Democrats is really on the uptick. The vibe right now, as is often the case with a party that's in total control of the legislature, is the party out of power surges in energy. Is that, I've been asking all your colleagues the same question, fait accompli next year, 2026, Republicans get shellacked?
Yeah. The American people run this country. I only represent them here as we are a constitutional republic. We need turnout. We need the American people to understand what's at stake here. If somehow the House or the Senate would turn back over to the Democrats, we would stop the agenda. We'd have skyrocketing spending. We'd have tax increases. They would do their best to open up the borders in any way possible. They'd bring back the NGOs and fire them up with all kinds of taxpayer money. Crime would get on the increase where today it's on the decrease. And they would do their best to impeach the president, completely stall his plan. So there's a lot at stake. We need to fortify in the manner we did in 2024. And that was beautiful, particularly in Pennsylvania. We had Trump Force 47. We had Scott Pressler. We had the Northeast Leadership Group up in Northeast PA. We had so many things taking place. And you know what? Working separately, but rowing in the same direction. It was so impressive what took place in Pennsylvania. My friend Jim Worthington down in the Southeast pulled together so much and did. So we need to recognize that our country is still at stake, and we all got to lean in and not forget what we've accomplished, and we need to make sure the Trump presidency delivers on all the promises.
You know the word is affordability, affordability, affordability. This is the word.
Yeah.
And I've been asking your colleagues this too. Real or perceived young people, the energy seems to be behind, or at least the media narrative is, the energy is behind the Mamdani types, the AOC types.
Yeah.
They feel up against it, so why not flirt with socialism? That's something that I'm hearing a lot. I don't know if you're hearing that. And if so, what's the Republican position to push back?
Well, you know what? Unfortunately, when you have 9 out of 10, and it's probably close to about 90% of the media, leans in a highly biased, even reverse of the truth, if you will, manner, to state things that are in the interest of creating a positive outlook on what the Democrats want to do. Not once during the Biden presidency, which had an overall 20% inflation increase during the course of 4 years, did they call out the type of inflation that existed and still exists. Look, we, for all intents and purposes, have defeated inflation. That's true. Under President Trump, cumulatively, inflation has gone up at this point about 2.2, 2.3% since he's been in office. That's all. That's almost a non-inflationary situation. Now, what we need to do is, as well, bring down the prices and costs that increased during the Biden administration. Now, look at gasoline prices. Look at a lot of different things. As interest rates come down, the type of investment taking place, supply-side economics. People don't like hearing that, but if you increase supply to meet or exceed demand, that's what drives prices down. And the president's moves, even on the tariffs. Okay, anybody will tell you, except certain sectors of industry and manufacturing, that tariffs are actually helping create more investment, more supply side style economics, and pushing more job growth in the United States.
Do you think housing turns around? Young people and getting into a house. I saw the average age of the first-time home buyer is now 40 or over 40. I mean, that's not where we want to be, obviously, as a country. Right. How do we correct that?
Well, housing is an issue. Young people weren't buying, and then all of a sudden they were. Interest rates became inflated, and that, of course, greatly increased their mortgage payments. So we definitely have a housing issue. I agree. Believe it or not, I was talking to Maxine Waters about that. She's ranking member on my financial services yesterday, and we agree. Now, how to reduce them, we don't agree. I don't believe in subsidies and all kinds of other government giveaways because, Chris, as you know, we can't afford that. So what we need to do is create an environment for production of homes. We do need the interest rates to come down. The next Federal Reserve Chairman is going to get that. We do need to remove the type of regulations that exist to build new homes. Permitting processes need to be improved. Wages need to come up. And we can have a more stable housing environment.
Let me ask you, am I crazy? Here's a theory. Could you encourage wealthier Americans to invest in the financing of home ownership for younger buyers? Could you tap into the private sector wealth to invest, make a little bit of a return to underwrite lending, maybe even roll student loans into it without involving government? Is that a possibility?
It is a possibility. Unfortunately, we have a president and a administration that is interested in nimble, clever, new ways of accomplishment. Yeah. And that really is taking place from the affordability end of things. Yeah. And I agree with you, like similar to the opportunity zones. They were for housing was included. They were for urban areas primarily. If we could create something like the opportunity zones for housing opportunity zones, that's a interesting idea.
I would love for you guys to be able to tell young people, no. Their giveaways aren't the way. Here's what we can do for you. I would love for the Republicans to have that story to tell next year.
I like it. That's a good. Like I said, that's a really good idea. I'll see what I can do.
Well, I appreciate it. I know you get a lot of ideas, but I hope that would work. Before we close today, you hope in 2026 the story you can tell before we get to the midterms is what? What do you think is the sales pitch to close?
Sales pitch is our national security is greatly improved. Of course, the border, our energy pricing is down, and we became energy dominant once again. Our economy is on the move because the tax decreases or the sustainability of the tax levels will drive the economy, will drive job growth. We will have a robust economy. I truly believe that. The markets will remain intact. We have other ideas, of course, for getting more of Americans involved in making such capital investments and being part of the markets as they go. And as well, we'll have a hopefully an atmosphere of common sense within our schools, within society as a whole. Common sense when it comes to crime, funding police, finding the best ways for police to act and approach, the best models. Banking, I'm on financial services, so ensure that small businesses and families are gaining access to capital so they can buy their homes and start new businesses. So I firmly believe, and it's not just being optimistic, it's realistic, that 2026 should be a very, very good year, and hopefully it's reported in an accurate way as we go, not in the somewhat disinformational manner that I said 90% of the media tends to message.
I'm sending you my idea, and I want you to call it the Trump Meuser Housing Affordability Plan.
I like it.
Let's do it. I'm sending it to you, and you can take it.
Okay.
All right? I promise.
appreciate it.
Congressman Dan Meuser, real pleasure, sir.
You too.
Thank you,
Chris.
brother.
Thank you very much.